we built a new model of virtual care designed specifically for cardiometabolic disease and weight management, areas where traditional medication-driven approaches have become too expensive and all too far reactive.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by EMV Capital CEO Dr. Ilian Iliev and Wanda Health CEO Tom Smith. Ilian, Tom, very good to speak with you both. Ilian, I'm going to start with you. EMV Capital backs IP-rich companies using advanced technology to solve real-world problems. What first stood out about Wanda Health and its potential within digital healthcare?
Ian, thank you. And as you know, within our framework, we have what we call the Venture Build program, where we take companies such as Wanda that have a strong IP portfolio, strong and interesting technology and industry, but where there is scope for growth and for us to support the businesses through the next value inflection points. And when it comes to Wanda, the company had already had, when we got involved, the company had already had a good run. However, we saw that there was a scope for improving its regulatory position, the evolution of the technology platform, taking cost out of the business to make it more profitable. While at the same time, when we got involved in Wanda at the outset, the healthcare industry was just in the beginning of taking on such digital SaaS models inside. And what we often know in this space is that even if you have the right technology and the right product, you have to find the right time to introduce it into the market. And our strategy reflected that, and we were very happy and lucky to bring Tom and his team into the business to take it forward.
Well, Tom, let's bring you into the conversation. For viewers who may not be familiar with Wanda, could you explain what the platform does and how it's reshaping virtual care delivery?
Thank you, Stephen. A quick thank you to Ilian as well and his team at EMV for supporting Wanda through its Venture Build program. Their partnership has been instrumental in helping us accelerate our product, our strategy, and ultimately our market execution. Wanda itself is a UK-based company by design, but our market is in the US, and that's primarily because that's where the problem is most urgent and where Wanda can have the largest impact. The UK gives us access to world-class clinical expertise, along with a highly effective talent base, while the US is the one that's really facing exploding GLP-1 drug spend and chronic disease costs. At Wanda, we built a new model of virtual care designed specifically for cardiometabolic disease and weight management, areas where traditional medication-driven approaches have become too expensive and all too far reactive. Our platform really combines three things that have historically operated in silos. That's intelligent technology that unifies biometric, clinical, and behavioral data, as well as connected devices that give us visibility into a member's health, and a dedicated coaching team that supports members every step of the way. It's this virtual care service that doesn't just monitor people, it actively helps them to improve their health, sustain weight loss, and where appropriate, transition them off expensive medications like GLP-1. We're really reshaping virtual care, focusing on what actually drives lasting outcomes, and that's personalized insights, proactive support, and lifestyle change that results in lower drug dependency and better long-term health.
Tom, as healthcare continues to digitize globally, what do you see as the biggest challenge in changing how care is delivered remotely?
I think, Stephen, the biggest challenge moving forward is transitioning from an era of data collection to one that enacts actual behavioral change. Digital health has been done a fantastic job of giving us more devices and more data, but alone data doesn't change outcomes. It's the people that change outcomes. So with the right coaching, support, and accountability, the real barrier isn't technology here. It's making remote care feel personal, continuous, and meaningful enough that people actually stay engaged and adopt healthier behaviors over time. And I think at Wanda, we've built this playbook where technology and guidance work together. Our challenge, and of course the opportunity here, is to prove that remote care can be more effective, more scalable, and more cost efficient than traditional in-person care with the right combination of insights and coaching as applied.
How big is the market you operate in, Tom, and where are you currently seeing the strongest traction?
We operate basically at the intersection of three fast-growing healthcare markets at a combined amount of over $250 billion in the US alone. So that's weight management and GLP-1 programs, where the US's spending has already exceeded over $70 billion and continues to grow rapidly. Then there's the cardiometabolic and chronic disease management space, which drives nearly 90% of all US healthcare spend. And then, of course, virtual care and remote monitoring, a multi-billion-dollar sector now with increasing acceleration. Our kind of strongest traction is currently with US health plans, particularly those looking to reduce GLP-1 drug spend, improve their chronic disease outcomes, and provide members with a sustainable pathway off of long-term medication. I think we're also seeing increasing demand from large employer plans, integrated delivery networks, and chronic care providers who need a scalable, cost-effective model to manage their cardiometabolic risk. I think the market momentum is driven by a simple truth, and that's that drug-only strategies are not financially sustainable anymore, and health plans urgently need proven alternatives.
Wanda's had an active year. Could you share the progress made in 2025 and what you expect to be your main revenue drivers over the next 12 to 18 months?
Wanda's had a transformational 2025. We focused on demonstrating that integrated model that I've spoken about, that intelligent technology, biometric devices, and coaching. And that really has materially improved outcomes for people suffering with cardiometabolic and weight management challenges. And importantly, we've shown that a focus on as a high-performing team, we can outperform much larger incumbents. So we launched our GLP-1 management program, enabling members to maintain their weight loss, stabilize metabolic health, and safely reduce long-term medication reliance. We've outcompeted billion-dollar healthcare companies, proving that our approach, the agility, and outcomes resonate strongly with health plans looking for real innovation, not just scale. And we've expanded key partnerships in the pharmacy benefit manager and health plan space, with early data showing high engagement from our programs, measurable improvements in health outcomes, and significant opportunities to reduce their GLP-1 spend. We've also managed to scale our coaching services, allowing us to deliver high-touch personalized care across larger and larger populations. And we've also released our insights engine, giving the payers of these plans clear visibility into drug utilization, the adherence, the care plan progression, and cost reduction across their populations. I think key for us over the next 12 to 18 months will be the expansion and continuation of these GLP-1 cost reduction programs, the expansion into wider cardiometabolic pathways, including things like diabetes, hypertension, and heart failure management, and then commercial adoption of our insights engine as a population health intelligence layer, and then scalable coaching and services that support behavioral change and long-term medication reduction. I think health plans are increasingly under pressure from chronic disease costs spiraling, and they're actively looking for a credible, sustainable solution. And I think Wanda is now proving that we can compete, win against much larger players by delivering better outcomes, better engagement, and better return on investment.
Ilian, looking ahead, what do you see as Wanda's biggest opportunities for creating long-term value for investors, and what gives you confidence in the team's ability to execute?
I think from our perspective, first of all, the company fits very well into the type of model that I described earlier. They have a real-world impact in the healthcare sector, and that fits within our broader mission. Through our venture build model, we have, as a PLC, we have a double-digit percentage stake in the business. So we are a significant shareholder, which positions us well to benefit from whatever Tom and his team end up cooking in the future. But again, I think in terms of what we've learned with this project and where we anticipate value will happen is that it really pays to be nimble in this space. The industry is changing at an absolutely drastic speed. And Tom himself knows they have tried multiple ways of connecting with the market and pivoted and developed that product market fit. And now that they have, it really sticks. So from our perspective, it's again, being consistent and patient with the approach that we have, but being positioned to benefit as shareholders significantly as the company moves forward. Part of our venture build model is that once the company gets to a product market fit and starts growing, that we attract other investors into the business so the company can have the resource to grow. And that's what Tom is working on.
Well, Ilian, Tom, I hope you'll continue to keep us updated with your progress. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Stephen.
That's EMV Capital CEO Dr. Ilian Iliev and Wanda Health CEO Tom Smith.